Yeah. All right. So before Professor John comes in, let's get a brief recap of what we did last week. We spoke about the low temperature sterilization, and the conclusions were such that today's instruments are far more sophisticated, right, and complex than devices of the past, right? And we all know that right now they even have robotics and things that are so complicated for procedures that are also complicated more than before, right? So this low temperature sterilization came in because we're having more instruments that are heat sensitive, instruments that are moisture sensitive. And I said that when we talk about low temperature, it's not about cold, right? It's not about cold, but we said at certain points we have up to 131 degrees Fahrenheit. But then we consider it low temperature compared to steam, which is 270 degrees. Okay. Does anyone has any question from last week? Anything that you didn't understand for the low temperature sterilization? Okay, so that was what we did. And we said that many of the instruments cannot withstand the high temperature, which was the 270 degrees, and hence the need for the low temperature, which is up to 131 degrees and so around 150. Okay, so where procedures are carefully followed, this low temperature, temperature sterilization is able to give us the best that we want, still with these delicate instruments that don't take too much heat. Okay, but we have to follow the procedures carefully. And who can actually remind me of one of the procedures to follow when it comes to low temperature sterilization? Anyone? Any procedure that you will be following? Something that will help you do it. Anything? Who remembers anything about that? Professor John is here, so I'm just going to take another minute and he's going to take over. So let me know anything that you remember, which procedures will help you make sure your low temperature, the instrument is compatible, and then the low temperature is going to give you the best sterilization levels that you want. Anyone to say anything? Gifty, Amda, is Othing here? Yeah, I think Othing is here, yeah. Professor John, when you're ready, just highlight me, okay? And I have your slide that I can share, so which you can get it from this side if you want. So anybody tell me okay, let me actually remind you guys, the most important thing with this temperature, low or high temperature, is to actually look at the instrument compatibility and then the IFU, the manufacturer's instructions that he gave, both the manufacturer of the instrument and the manufacturer of the sterilization equipment, the machine, the autoclave. Okay, those are two major things, two major procedures to follow. If the instructor, the manufacturer tells you this is heat resistant, fine. If he says no, this should be done under low temperature, just follow low temperature. Don't decide it by yourself. The procedures to follow: one is the IFU, information for use. It may come from your manufacturer of the autoclave or the manufacturer of the instrument itself. And if you need access to that, who do you talk to? Your manager, your supervisor, whoever was there before you, talk to them and make sure you get the right thing, okay? Any questions so far about those sterilization, high temp and low temperature? Any questions? I believe you guys have no questions because we exhausted those chapters. Okay. So, Professor John.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm giving the floor to you now, and I'm
All
going to be
right.
sharing the slides. Okay, is that
Thank
okay
you
with
so
you?
much. Thank you,
All right.
Professor Ejapon, for holding the fort. All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great. Right. I hope we all had a wonderful week. So we are back trying to make a career out of sterile processing. All right. Today, the topic is sterile storage and transport. So Professor Japon was just reviewing what he did last week regarding high temperature sterilization and low temperature sterilization. Now, when you sterilize the instruments, when they are all sterilized, we need to store them so that it will be ready for use. So that is what we are going to look at today. How to transport them to where it is stored, how to store them, looking at certain factors that could compromise their sterility, looking at what we are not supposed to do to make sure that they live or they stay on the shelf for longer period, so that whenever the surgeon is in need of it, it is readily available to be used. So that is basically what we are looking at. So whenever you see the topic, just try to figure it, look at the heading, the keywords, and see if you yourself can make some points down even before you read the material. So sterile storage and transportation is about when the item is sterilized, how do we store it? How do we transport it to the storage place? That is what we are going to be looking at. Today, I'll have a friend on probably on the platform. Let me see if he's here already. I'll be driving with him today. Cass, are you there? Cass. All right, it looks like he's not here yet. So when he comes, he will drive. He will be my co-pilot for today. Right. So basically, we are looking at how to store sterilized items so that they can live long or they can last for a long time. And we are going to look at events or factors that can compromise an item that is sterilized, such that it will not be available for use when it is needed. So pay attention, guys. When you need to ask questions, go unmute and ask, or prompt us and ask. Put your hand up. You know the rudiments of Zoom already, so I don't have to walk you through it anymore. So for the introduction, we say importance of sterility. Importance of sterility. Why do we want to make sure that an item is readily or is sterilized or sterile all the time? Ensuring items are sterile and ready for patient use. You always have to make sure that the item is ready. That is why sterility is very important. So whatever you need to do to make sure that the item is ready for use, you got to do that. Then under that, we have preventing contamination of sterile items. That's why it is important to maintain sterility, to prevent contamination. And then we talk about barrier packaging. Barrier packaging, we are talking about things that protect the content that is in there, be it the wrap or whatever that you are using to protect what is sterile in the procedure tray or whatever you are dealing with or you are sterilizing. So protect sterile items from what? Contamination. That's the purpose of the barrier packaging, is to make sure that what is in there remains sterile for as long as it is not compromised. Not an impenetrable barrier. So the barrier packaging is to make sure that nothing can penetrate, but that is how it is supposed to serve, or that is the purpose it's supposed to serve, but certain events can compromise it. So we will see that shortly. And then handling protocols. Keep items in a safe environment. Yes. Consistently practicing good handling protocols. So whatever you are doing right has to be done every day. You don't have to do it when you are in a good mood, and then when you are in a bad mood, you do something else. So whenever you step into this department, put aside all your problems, because everybody has problems. If you hear of somebody's own, you put yours down and then start celebrating that your problems are small. So go to the department with a positive mind and always do what you do right. Okay, regardless of the pressure, the stress, the frustration that you are going through should not allow you to cut corners. So consistency, very important. So that if your name is mentioned regarding something, they will say, no, this is not right. It doesn't happen with Shania, it doesn't happen with Tawfiq, it doesn't happen with Jawara. Yes, so create a unique name for yourself. The next one is a strategies for maintaining sterility, examining, and at that we have examining methods for keeping items sterile until use. Next slide, please. All right. Importance of sterile storage. Importance of sterile storage. One, important ensuring of importance of sterility. So ensuring items are sterile and ready for use. We did mention that risk of contamination. That is why sterile storage is there. I'm only going to look at the ones that I did not mention. We mentioned the first two, the barrier package in the introduction. Then let's look at safe environment. Safe environment. So it means that environment has a role to play in sterile storage. That's why we are talking about it. So keeping items in a safe environment. And then consistently practicing good handling protocol. What is safe environment? All right. Safe, the environment is the space around whatever you think is sterile. That is environment. The human being, and then whatever the human being is doing is the environment of the item that is sterile. So anything that the environment would do that will compromise it, the item being sterile, is what we are talking about here. So we have to make sure that we keep an eye on environmental factors that could cause something that is sterile to become non-sterile. So the housekeeping job that they do is environment. So the housekeeping comes to center sterile, to mop, to dust, to clean. We have to make sure that when they are cleaning the dust, items that are sterile are protected so that the dust does not go or have contact with the sterile items. So that is the environmental situation. Whatever mopping or chemicals they are using to mop the floor or clean the environment does not have contact with the item that is sterile. That is the safe environment, or the role that the environment is playing in sterile storage process. Then handling protocols. This is a very, very, very important point that you should never forget. Handling protocols. We don't pull stuff in sterile storage. We lift. That's why when you are going to be interviewed to be hired, or when you are applying for a job applying for a job in sterile processing, you always have to go and look at the requirement. You will always see be able to lift, I think 50 pounds or so, if I'm not mistaken. I think 50 pounds, or is it 25 pounds? I'm not too sure of you always see that every hospital, because you are supposed to lift and not pull. So pulling in central sterile processing is a no-no. In a sterile storage, you don't pull, you lift. And we'll get to that shortly. So good handling protocols are essential. Preventing items from becoming unsterile is also the reason why we have to practice good protocol. So that you see in the green box is explaining what is barrier packing, barrier packaging. So prevent ingress or microorganisms and allow aseptic presentation of the product at the point of use. So any material that will prevent bacterial growth and allows it to be open such that it is not contaminated. It is still remains sterile. For them to use that material is what they call barrier packaging. Next slide. Sterile storage consideration. Importance of proper storage. Ensures items remain sterile. Point well made. We can't overemphasize that. Prevent contamination if you do sterile storage. Those are the considerations you have to have in mind. You also have to have the environmental impact. Activities of personnel can affect sterility. We did mention that the housekeeping people, and not only the housekeeping people, even central sterile processing tech. We are not supposed to drink water. We're not supposed to eat in the department, but you find people eating cookies. You find people having bottles of water. The worst part is even people, you find people having soda drinks, coffee. People bring coffee to the department. It's a no-no, but you will find people do. When you begin to work in the department, you will see your colleagues do that. So they become the environmental impact of this thing. The environmental factors like floods also can happen. Maybe there is somebody was frying something, the smoke detector detected something, and then the sprinkler went off, and then all the sterile items will be unsterile. Or there was a burst in a pipeline somewhere in the building. It came through the ceiling and then into the storage area. Things need to be reprocessed quickly. Then processing initiation. So start when sterilizer door is open. What it means here is sterile storage consideration starts as soon as the door of the machine opens or items are received. That is, if they are already pre-sterilized from the vendor or the manufacturer. Requires careful planning and maintenance. Everything you do, you got to plan, you got to be able to maintain it. Then environmental consideration. Proper environment is crucial for maintaining that, right? So you should proper environment is critical. So they should not be trays should not be located closer to sink areas, or it should not be located to where traffic is heavy. All right, all of that we will see shortly. Must address various factors to ensure appropriate storage. So we have to make sure that other factors are there: lighting, space. We'll look at how high we can store something. We'll look at how low we can store something. All of those are environmental factors, and all of that needs to be taken into consideration when you are doing sterile storage. We look at those that we can go all wrap trays, that we look at the heavy ones where we're supposed to place them, all of that. We'll look at that. Post-sterilization storage. Importance of proper storage. Items must be stored correctly to maintain sterility. Since that personnel activities and environmental impact, personnel activities and environment impact item sterility. We saw that. Okay, people go, another environment personnel activity can be you go for lunch, you didn't wash your hands properly. My Ghanaian friends on the platform or in the class, we love our banku and our okra stew. You go have it, or you get your fufu and your palm nut soup. You have it, or you get your rice balls and your peanut butter soup. And then you didn't take care of your hands properly. And then you go start touching, you are on sterilization, you start touching the trays and then taking them to storage. They are compromised already. Done. So proper hand hygiene, we'll look at that also down the line. Risk of improper storage. Definitely, if you don't store it well, you expect them to be what? The protective, the barrier packaging will break, and then the item will be unsterile. And all of those are the risks that you stand to bring when you don't do proper storage. Healthcare storage requirements. Areas must be well planned and maintained. We talked about it shouldn't be clumsy. It shouldn't be clumsy. When it is too clumsy, what happens? Trays, somebody is trying to lift a tray and put it where it's supposed to go, then it falls down because the place is too narrow, the person cannot navigate. And central storage, sterile processing department, once the item hit the ground, it has to go and start all over again. That is the rule, the golden rule. You hit the ground, start all over again. So constant vigilance needed to ensure sterility until use. Any questions so far? Any question?
No, really.
Good. Next slide. Environmental consideration. So to maintain one of the factors you have to take into consideration to look at your environment is maintaining sterility of items, and then whatever you can do within the environment to prevent what? Contamination. And these are the factors environmental conditions. What are the environmental conditions? Space, okay, fluid, related activities that go on in the department, especially the housekeeping that does the stuff for us, and we, the technicians who work also over there, our attitude, our activities that we do or carry on in the department, not approved by the hospital policies, can also impact the sterility of the item, and therefore needs to be taken into consideration. All right, that's why we are saying that even if you are dying, you cannot drink water in central sterile processing. No, not talk about coffee, soda, and then the rest of it. But you get to know that people cut corners, people have no regard for those rules, but don't follow them because it's not ideal. It's not the right way to go. The storage protocols. Storage protocols. We'll see that storage protocols. We'll see that I already mentioned one of them. That we don't pull, we lift. Okay, and then we also look at how heavy the item will be, and then we'll see where it's supposed to go. Location. Location of sterile storage should be near sterilization cooling area. Yes. Why should it be near sterilization cooling area? I want somebody to think outside the box and see if they can. Why should sterile storage area be located near sterilization cooling area?
So that it could be ready for immediate use.
So that it could be ready for immediate use. Yeah, it's a good attempt. It's a good attempt, but that's not the reason. Why should sterile storage be near sterilization cooling area? Shania gave her opinion.
It says to minimize airborne contaminants.
Okay, where would the airborne contaminant come from? What will you do before you get that?
By transporting it?
Yes. So you see, when it is closer, the transport, when it is closer to the sterilization cooling area, it cuts your travel distance. Therefore, it reduces the exposure, the level of exposure of your sterile items to contamination. If you have to travel long distance, you meet human beings, you meet other kinds of people. You see a housekeeping person with his garbage going, and then you are meeting him, somebody with his coffee, somebody, and then some of them will be your friends. You shake hands with them, you greet them, you say something, and before you go back and touch the things that you are transporting, what happens? Contaminated. That's why we are suggesting is closer to sterilization cooling one area. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, great. So ideally, an enclosed room accessible from sterilization, breakout, and case cut staging area. So it should be a closed area. It shouldn't be something that is open. If it is open, it's open to a lot of what? Attack. It should be away from main traffic area to minimize airborne contamination. Yes, main traffic. It shouldn't be an area that people use a lot. All right. And it should have that signature which says stop if you are not properly attired. Designated for sterile items only. So we are talking about non-sterile items should not be stored near or where sterile items are because of cross-contamination. So if something is non-sterile, it should stay with non-sterile people or non-sterile class. And those that are sterile should stay with sterile class. So that's what it means there. Effort should be made to meet criteria for sterility maintenance. So whatever you need to do to make sure you keep the place sterile, you have to. Alternative storage areas. Sterile items may be stored in other areas of healthcare facilities, such as nursing units. In your book, some people call it satellite storage areas or satellite storage. So it's not always central storage processing department that storage occurs. For example, my facility right now, we do have ear instruments are stored in the oval area. All right. So it is not in an enclosed wall. It is not the ideal situation, but we try as much as possible to cover it from a lot of traffic and dust. All right. It is not the ideal situation, but we do have areas other than the central sterile processing department that hold sterile storage that hold sterile items. Okay, and some of these areas mainly are holding sterile items that are pre-sterilized, meaning that the manufacturer sterilize it, and then we keeping it. It has expiration date that we need to keep an eye on, and then we need to rotate it in a way that it doesn't expire before we get to use it. All right, we'll look at that down the line. Next slide. When I take is Cass here?
He's coming on in a second.
All right. Yeah. Shara knows who I'm talking about. All right. Okay. All right. So ideal. What is the ideal storage thing? Location of sterile storage area. It should be near. We have seen all of that. The first point, ideally enclosed area. That is the ideal situation. It should be enclosed. Anything outside of enclosed building is a no. It should be a temporary arrangement, and you should be thinking about a permanent situation. Must be out of main traffic area. We have seen that. Let's go to the bullet 3. Efforts for sterility maintenance. Place items in areas meeting sterility maintenance criteria. If you go for any reason, you are multitasking, you are doing so many things at the same time, and you are holding a tray, sending it to storage, and then somebody decides to speak to you, you want to attend to the person before going, and then you decide to put the item that is sterile by a sink. All right, by a sink because you need to attend to the person. That is the only place you found space. Once you are attending to the person, somebody comes to wash his or her hands. What do you think will happen to the item that you put there?
To get contaminated.
God, that's it. All right. So we have to place items in areas meeting sterility, making sure that to not get into that situation, even though you are trying to multitask, make sure you take the right decisions. If not, you come back and you see that there's water on or there's moisture on your tray. Once that happens, it's gone. You just have to unwrap it and start all over again. Then sterile items may be stored in other healthcare facility areas, like we said, we call them satellite storage areas. Next slide. Space requirement. Instrument tray storage. Type 1. Type and number of trays. So the storage area, we look at the space and we determine how many trays we want to put there so that it will not create any problem or any situation that will bring about things being unsterile whilst being stored. Rigid containers versus wrapped. Those are the things. In central sterile, is either it is in the container or it is wrapped. Or the least you can find is pouched. Pouched. All right. So wrapped, container, pouch. These are the three ways that we process our instruments. So once you get there, you see pouch, you see wrapped, and you see container. All of them are stored differently. Point number 2 says space for smaller items, pill pouches and small items. So yes, so you also have to think about how to store pill pouches. Storage for pre-sterilized items. Pre-sterilized items are stuff that manufacturers sterilize. We just buy it and we open the box, we use it right away. You don't have to sterilize it anymore. So gowns, and then procedure packs. Yep. Then aisles space for cart movement. Yes. So the aisles. Everybody by now should know aisles. If you don't know aisles, then it means that you don't go to the shop, you don't go to the supermarket, you don't go to the grocery store, you don't go to let me even say it means that you don't even go to church or you don't go to the mosque or whatever, because everything is arranged. So you have to, the spaces between every arrangement is the aisles. All right. Okay, so the aisles space for cart movement. So there must be space for you to be able to maneuver if you have a cart that you are in the storage room to pick something. It shouldn't be too clumsy. That's what I used earlier. So it's easy to move, easy access to all shelves. Then room setup, thorough cleaning. So every day, like I said, they need to go and clean so that dust does not build up. Next slide. Next slide. Adequate space for storage. Adequate space for storage. So if you don't, we need, you see those pictures in there? Yeah, that's how the departments, most departments look like. So that space there, the picture at the bottom behind the tech. Can you put the cursor there? Whoever is controlling the slide. Okay, let me use the cursor. All right, yeah, that space there is the space we are talking, is the space we are talking about the aisle. So that you see the cut over there on your right hand side is what they use to pick whatever they need to pick. And you see that most of the items that are stored there are wrapped. The blue things that you see there are the wrappers, the wraps. All right. So first, adequate space for storage. We need to think about space. and cart movement. We saw that. Instrument trays. Type and number of trays to be stored. Rigid containers versus wrapped. Storage for smaller items. We saw all of that. All right. It's kind of yes. Let's go to the last point. Is what is the most important. Room setup. That is the storage room setup. So you set it up. So if you have space, you set it up service by service. You have depending on the services that you have in your hospital or the department, your facility, you could set it up auto, GYN, GU, head and neck, spine, neuro, cardiac, dental, and all of those that you can think of, eye, ear, so many services. So you arrange them according to the service. But if you don't have space, if space is a very, very expensive commodity in your facility, like my place, then you have to combine some services so that you can store them. Next slide. And before we take the next slide, has anybody any question? Any question? Ask questions. Oh, all right. Any question? Great. Now, storage conditions. Storage conditions. So even before we talk about just think about even in your own private setting, in your own house, how do you intend to store your stuff? Okay, that is how you think about central storage, central storage processing department storage too. So storage condition, environmental controls. Environmental controls. So for storage, they have to be in the storage room. We have temperatures that we need to maintain. We have humidity level that we need to maintain so that we are guaranteed that the items we keep, they are still or remain sterile. Just as we have environmental temperature requirements in decontam and prep and pack, we have temperature requirements in the storage area as well. And all these things needs to be recorded, it needs to be monitored. And then when they are going out of range, we get them to be within range for us to guarantee sterility of the storage. So it says monitor temperature, humidity, and air pressure. Does anybody know about the temperature in sterile storage? What is supposed to be the temperature range? Temperature range. So this becomes about my third question. I can't, the first two, I remember.
Is it between 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 to 75 degrees?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think so. So I think, is it 72 to 74? I'm not sure. I'm also not sure, but it's within the 70s. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 70.
72 to 78.
72
to 78.
to 78. Great. So yeah, so 72 to 78, we're good. All right. So that, and the last time who does, depending on the hospital facility policy, most of the time is the engineering department that does the monitoring, but we are supposed to keep an eye on it and then report where it is out of range. So the humidity will also need to be monitored, and then the air exchange, also needs to be monitored. How much in terms of percentage is the air exchange? We need to monitor and all of that will be spelled out. So the person who is sterilizing the items and then taking them to storage need to keep an eye on it. Then structural requirement: no exposed water, sewage, or air conditioning lines. So the structure that is to house the sterile items, we need to make sure that there are no exposed water, sewage, sewer or air conditioning lines. The same thing. Easy to clean work surfaces. So it should be such that it be easy to clean the vent in case there's vents are there. It should be easy to clean. Okay. To mop the floors and go between our services and get things sorted out. You go there, you find out because people are rushing, locks will break. You'll be surprised to find indicators in the storage area. One would have expected that you only find names of trays, locks broken, but you find indicators in there. I don't know how they get there. Cooked indicators. But yes, if you find a lock in sterile storage, it means that's where it's supposed to be. Yes, a cooked lock, broken. All right, you should find it there. Right. So if you look at the picture there, somebody is doing monitoring or checking some environmental controls in there. Now, before I go to the next bullet, which is separation and traffic control. If you are in sterile storage and you find a tray with one lock, a container tray with one lock broken, what will you do? Whoever knows the answer, unmute and speak. The question again is, if you are in sterile storage, putting trays in storage area, and you find a tray with a lock broken, what will be your action, or what steps will you take? Or what will you do? Same question.
Send back to the content.
Send back to the content. Who was that? Amda. Good. Amda. Amda's opinion is send it back to the content. I need two more responses, then we'll reveal the answer.
Take it through sterile processing again.
You take it through sterile processing again. Yusuf, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Yusuf says take it through sterile processing again.
And you have to inform your supervisor.
Jawara says you have to inform your supervisor. All right. So, Jawara's answer is too extreme. And then Amda's answer too is the process you have taken back is way too bad. Yusuf's answer is close, is the right process, but Yusuf, what will you do? There are some step by step to correct that. Do you know the steps? So now I'm not putting Yusuf on the spot. If anybody know the step by step to do that, you can speak up. Yusuf says we have to go take it back to through sterilization, which is correct. We have to re-sterilize the tray. But what do we do to get it ready to re-sterilize it? I think I'm giving clues now, so somebody can easily pick up from there. So by implication, once the lock is broken, what does it mean? By implication, what does it mean?
It has been tempted.
It has been
Tempted.
tempered,
Yeah.
or it has been contaminated. It has been exposed. All right. So we take, that's why Yusuf said we take it back to sterilization process. But then for it to be sterile, you don't just take it there and then this is, you have to break the other lock, change the filters, put new indicator, then put new lock, then cook it again. All right. Okay. Now, so separation and traffic control. Physically separate storage area from other departments. Physically separate storage area from other departments, so that there wouldn't be too much traffic. The reason is traffic. All right. Temperature and humidity. We saw that. Lighting and safety. Yes. Storage area must have enough light. It's not a club whereby a place is, and then the lights are always bright and they have to be on 24/7. All right. So that but you find people when they are working there, sometimes they put it off to take some naps. Yeah, it does happen. Then why should this point be relevant? The last one, storage conditions, hand hygiene facilities. Hand hygiene facilities. Why? Can somebody apply something to the hand hygiene and connect it with the storage conditions? Hand hygiene. Oh, all right. So storage, you cannot go do storage without involving your hand. And then I gave a scenario whereby you go to eat, you need to wash your hand. Some of us eat we like our delicacies, our special foods, our country foods, and they come heavily oiled stuff, all right? Okay, you need to wash our hands. We need to, when we go to use the washroom, we need to take care of our hands. Hand hygiene is very, very important, because you're lifting with your hands. You don't lift a tray with your legs. It's your hands. Okay. When you are looking for the name is hidden. It is your hands you are going to use to get the tag out to look. Your hands need to be clean. All right. Next slide, please. Storage shelving. Storage shelving. Even before we look at the literature over there, let's look at the picture. Everybody look at the picture carefully. I'm giving everybody 2 minutes to look at the picture, and I'll begin to ask some questions. Yeah, the pictures. Yeah, the one the host is showing, the cursor is on, and then put it on the lady as well. So look at those two pictures, and it tells a story. After that, we'll have a conversation. 2 minutes. Look at it carefully, ask yourself questions, analyze it, and then all right. So let's concentrate. Let's forget about the literature. Let's just concentrate on the picture. Everybody just concentrate on the picture. Can somebody describe to me what the tech is doing or the person in the storage room doing?
Is it prep and pack?
Jawara,
packaging.
Jawara, you said?
She's packaging the sterilized items.
She's packaging the sterilized item. That is from the lens of Jawara. She's packaging. No, you said what? Did I get it right? Packaging. Did you say packaging or?
Yeah, packaging.
Okay, packaging the sterilized items. Yes. Any other observation regarding the lady?
Yeah, he's storing
She's
the
what?
item. He's storing the item.
She's storing the items. Now, both of you are correct. Now, if you look at is she using her hands or her legs?
And
Her hands. Okay. That is why hand hygiene is important. Do you see that one of her hands is underneath the tray, the canister?
Yes.
Good. So what happens is that at the bottom there, we have holes. If the hands are contaminated, what do you think will happen?
the items got contaminated too.
Yes, the item will get what? Contaminated. You see that between the two carts, the items behind her and the item in front, the space there must be big enough for her to be able to store the item. That's what we're talking about. What? Space for maneuvering or access to the shelves. You remember that point? All right. Now let's come back to the picture behind her. The picture behind her. The one controlling the distance. Can you put that one over there for me? The cursor on that picture. On the left hand side. Yes, good. Stop there. Exactly what I want. So with the item that you saw the cursor on, how many things do you see on that blue thing? Maybe I'm not asking the question well. Do you see anything beside the tray? Beside the sterilized tray, do you see anything beside the sterilized tray?
No,
On that?
it's pretty open.
Yeah, Shania, what was your contribution?
I said no.
No. Okay. So the cursor, he's pointing the cursor at the tray. Do you see only the tray or you see something beyond the tray?
There's a package on the tray.
There's a package under what?
Under the tray.
Yes, there is a tray under the tray. Why do you think the tray is there? Why? Why do you think the tray is under the tray?
To prevent contamination, if the shelf is already
Okay, to prevent contamination, yes. Okay. Any other varied opinion? Why do we have to put the tray under a tray? Say to prevent contamination. It's good. Yeah, so The reason we do that, which we'll see shortly, is to prevent tear on the wrap or holes being punctured on the wrap. Okay, and when holes or the wrap is torn, it will get to the point. The answer you see for Tofik, I don't know who provided that contamination answer. So when there's tear or there's a puncture or there's a hole created on the wrap, then contamination will happen. So the reason is we want to prevent tear on the wrap. That's why we put a tray under a tray. All right. So storage shelving, design considerations, protect sterile products. Protect sterile products. Why do we do design consideration? To protect sterile products. Properly fit stored items without overhanging or overhang. And hold total weight of trays. So some of the trays are heavy. I won't lie to you. When you get there, some of the trays are heavy, especially the orthopedic trays. They're heavy. They have a lot of metals in there. So just have that at the back of your mind. Everything is not going to be that. So we have some trays that are heavy. So to hold the total, so the shelving is to hold the weight of the item. All right. So, and when you are putting the trays there, please watch. Don't get distracted, because if you don't lift it well, the tray can drop and it will drop on your foot. And it can take you out of job for a long time. And you might even need surgery. Then safety and economics. Prevent contamination and staff injury. So yes, that's why it's because of staff injury. That's why we make sure that there's space for you to maneuver and then for you to have access to the shelving. Then economically friendly for CS technicians. So yes, space so that it will be easier for you to maneuver. Allow easy access to stored products. We've seen that. Materials and cleanliness must be easily cleaned. So we must be able to clean the materials that we use. Then metals or plastic recommended. Obviously, in sterile storage, either it is metal or plastic. The choice depending on the budget. It depends on the costs. And then you always have to do shopping. You shop from around, contact vendors or manufacturers or suppliers, and they will provide you the code. You look at, maybe you get 3-4 people, then you see which one is giving you a better price, and then you go along with them. So it's all about marketing. Custom and manufacture what? Shelving. Okay. So they manufacture it, they bring, you buy. Others, they come and take measurements of your storage area and they design something for you. They give you a blueprint. If you think the blueprint is good and is workable, they come and take the measurement, and then they bring the fittings or the parts, and then they come and set it up for you, and then you're good to go. Others, you just go and buy the card and then come and throw it in there. All right. So look at the picture again, and you see that the shelves are made of, in this particular storage, it is made up of what? Metals. All right. A lot of it is metal. They have shelves that are there. They are exposed. I don't see that they have shelf covers, but maybe we'll be talking about shelf covers in the next slide or two. Let's go to the next slide. All right. So receipt of sterile items in storage. In-house sterile items, sterilized items. That is items that we technicians have prepped. It went through decontain, through wash, we prep it and we cook it. That is what we are talking about here as in-house sterilized items. Move items to a designated cooling area near the sterilizer. So in every facility, they have a holding area that you take out the load. What you are taking out from the sterilizer is what we call the load. So you take out the load from the sterilizer, the machine, and then you wheel it to a holding area where it is supposed to stay and cool off. Again, this place must have less traffic. All right. Prevent air current from what? Causing contamination. So you should not be storing it at a place where the AC is there. No, it's going to cause damage. You are going to cause more harm. Point number 2, it says, handling warm packages. Do not touch until packages reach room temperature. Do not touch. Why are we saying do not touch? When you touch, chances are that if your hands are dirty, they are oily, they are contaminated, you could get the item contaminated as well. So that's why we are advising do not touch. Use a temperature meter to check temperature without contact. So the modern day Central Cell Processing Department, we have a gun. We have a gun, infrared gun that you aim at the load. After you let it sit for a while, you aim the gun at it, you shoot, and then it will be able to tell you the temperature of the items that is on the rack. If it is up to the temperature required to go to storage, then you take them to storage. You don't have to use your hand and touching them and feeling how hot or warm they are. You do that, your hands may be contaminated, and then you get the sterile items contaminated. We are talking about in-house situation. Then placing items on storage shelf. Check indicator tape, seals, and container locks. So if you are taking items to storage, check the tape if it is a wrap item, check the locks if it is a container item, check to see if the filters are still secured on the container lid. You have to check that. Why? Because sometimes our friends, our co-workers don't out of maybe some not paying attention to what they are doing, they could prep a tray which is not sterilized. They come and put it on a load that is sterilized. So if you are putting sterilized loads to the storage room, you have to keep an eye on what you are sending to storage. Some places, they have a system such that once you scan the item to take it to storage and it is not sterilized, it will give you a red screen prompting you that, hey, the item you are sending to storage is not sterilized. But other places, the system they are using, they don't have that feature. So you have to use your human eye to make or to help yourself in that process. So that is why in central sterile processing, you cannot put sterilized and unsterilized loads or items together. You do that, you basically contaminating the sterile ones, right? So ensure no holes or tears in the packaging material. So the wrapped ones, you make sure they are not there are no holes. Then handling wrapped trays. Lift trays to avoid holes. So we lift, you lift it, you don't pull. You lift it, you put your hand underneath, then you lift. Okay, you lift the front edge, put your hand underneath, and then you pick it up. Basically, almost closer. So the picture we saw earlier with the lady, the answers we provided as being she was storing it. To me, it appeared as though she was picking it from the shelf because of the technique. Because of the technique. Because you saw that one of her hands was underneath the container and then she was holding the handle. So trying to lift it instead of pull it. But whichever the case may be, she's doing the right thing, whether storage or picking it from storage. Then handling rigid containers. Handling rigid containers. So we have to look at wrapped versus containers. And we saw the pouch. The pouch is one of the most difficult storage item to keep in Central Sterile Processing Department, because when they overstack them, there's a problem. Even the sealing of the pouch is problematic. All right, not talking about its storage. So let's see if we can take one slide before our 4:15, then we take a break. One slide. The next slide. Yes. Then in-house sterilized items, cooling area for sterilized items. So items should be moved to a designated cooling area. We've seen that moving warm carts can cause air currents, leading to condensation and contamination. So don't put your load that you are putting in the cooling area under a vent or AC or air condition. It's going to create some moisture on the items. All right. Some people think when they do that, it will cool off faster. No, you are causing more harm than good. Handling warm packages. Packages should not be touched. We've seen that use temperature gun. Touching warm packages can transfer microbes from skin, causing contamination. Then temperature measurement. Use an infrared meter to determine package temperature without touching. It's like a how many of you have shopped at let's say Target? If you have been to Target before, you go most shops have that. There's a gun, they scan it, you hear beep, 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 beep. Yeah, that's how it is. It comes with some lightning. So yeah, they scan the barcode. It is so this comes like a gun. There's a screen that you maybe the next slide. Oh, I don't know whether it's there or not, but the gun has a screen that you aim the items that you want to check whether the temperature is cool enough for you to take it to storage. You aim it, you hold it, you pull the trigger, you hold it for a couple of seconds, and then the temperature will be transferred from the item to the gun through that infrared. And then you, based on the readings on the screen of your gun, you know whether it's cool enough to go to storage or not. Same way you do if an item is a turnover. Turnover means that they need it to be used. It came out, you want to know whether it's cool enough to be sent to the OR to be used. So you use the gun to determine whether it is cool enough, all right, to go. And how will you know it's cool enough? The manufacturer will tell you the range or the temperature at which it is accepted to take to storage. When you buy the IFU, will tell you what the temperature is supposed to be. Storage of sterilized items. Ensure indicator tape, blah, blah, blah. We've seen that. Check for appropriate color change in chemical indicators. We are talking about the lock and then the tape. That is the only change you can see outside. The other change, which is chemical, is in the tray. Once you want to see that one, it means that you are being curious, you are being inquisitive. And once you are too curious, what is going to happen is that you are going to compromise the sterility of the item before it gets to the OR. So once you open to see, oh, did it actually cook? Did it change? Once you open, done. It has to go back and start the process again. So we use the locks and the tape, which are external or outside, telling us that the item has been exposed to sterilization parameters. The tape and the lock doesn't tell you that the item is sterilized. It only tells you that the item has been exposed to sterilization method or sterilization parameters. It only can confirm that the item has been sterilized when you open and the chemical indicator in there has traveled to the safe zone. That is when we can confidently confirm that it is sterilized. That is why an item may have a good tape change outside, go to the OR, and then they say that it's not good because the indicator did not change to acceptable level. And then the last point is a handling wrapped trays. Handling wrapped trays. We are going to look at how to handle wrapped trays when we come back. It's 4:15. We will take 15 minutes break. So we'll come back 4:30. Okay. Before we leave, anybody, any question? Is my friend Cass back? All right. So let's take a break and we'll come back 4:15. Okay. I'm sorry, 4:30. Okay, welcome back. Let's continue from where we left off. So we're looking at next slide. Go, guys. So purchase pre-sterilized items. So in the hospital settings, we have items that come from manufacturers that are sterilized already. CSPD has nothing to do with it. Those are what we call purchased pre-sterilized items. They come in boxes, they come in different packaging. So what we are saying is that when they come in boxes, we need to break the boxes. You don't have to bring the box, the box that has traveled inside the flight or the ship or the truck, to get to the hospital. You don't have to take that box to the storage area. You have to break it somewhere and take the items that are in the box that is pre-sterilized. You then take them and then send it to the storage. Now, when you break them, you need to put them in the storage area. You need to transport them from where you are breaking the boxes, the outside boxes, to the storage area. Now, whatever you are going to use must be, we encourage that it should be enclosed. It should be a closed cart so that the pre-sterilized items are not exposed to external environment. But in the event that you don't have enclosed carts, we are saying that even if you are using a open cart to transport them after you break the boxes, we are saying that open cart should have at least a solid bottom. It should have a solid bottom. Why? Because when you are pushing the cart or you are pulling the cart, the wheels are rolling. They are flipping items from the floor to the car or to the items on the car. So if it is a solid bottom, what happens is that the items, the contaminated particles or dust or whatever that is, the wheel of the cart is flipping, is going to hit the bottom of the solid cart. It won't have contact with the pre-sterilized item. Same applies to even in-house sterilized items. Whatever you're using to transport them must have a solid bottom. If it doesn't have a solid bottom, then you have to create a solid bottom by putting a shelf liner on it. They have shelf liners that you can buy to put it on it to prevent the dust that is coming from the wheels of the car having contact with the instrument or the pre-sterilized items. So let's look at the literature. What does it say? Receive pre-sterilized products. Receiving pre-sterilized products. Products come in shipping containers, often corrugated cardboard. That the boxes. We have all seen them in big shopping areas, Costco and the rest. You'll find them there. Outer container should be removed in a controlled area, meaning that you should remove it in a designated area. Then delivering it to sterile storage. Items should be delivered close to the sterile storage area. We have seen that. Use clean enclosed transportation cart or bins. So you see that this gentleman is using a bin, a blue bin in the picture, but you can also use cart. Never allow outside shipping cartons in the sterile storage area. I mentioned that already. Maintaining sterility. Clean transfer bins and carts regularly. Yes, because they're going to build up some dust and some other things that you don't want having contact with your sterile items. Remove cardboard boxes quickly to avoid contamination. We said that. Handling items. Handling the items well, but after washing your hands and what have you. So it means that when you break the boxes, you should wash your hand before you transport, or at least use alcohol-based hand sanitizer to, get your hands sanitized for further handling. Then storage procedures. Definitely we'll look at the storage procedures as we progress. Next slide. Event-related sterility. Event-related sterility. Product life. Degraded over time affects sterility, sorry. And then expired items are unsafe for use. So product life is the expiration date. The expiration date is the product life. So if it is expiring in 6 months, after 6 months, no good. Okay, the effect that it will, or the impact will be reduced, or the effect on when it is used is going to be reduced. So to avoid a lower quality or not having maximum impact, dispose it off once the expiration date as is gone. Type of packaging material. Say defined as useful life. Type of packaging materials. Defined useful life for packaging material. Follow manufacturer's recommendation for shelf life. That is the expiration date we are talking about. Loss of microbial barrier protection after expiration. So once the date expires, the manufacturer feels that one, the potency is reduced. Two, chances are that for it being on the shelf that long, it might have been compromised. So there might be a break somewhere, it might have fallen, somebody might have touched it, somebody must have pressed it where they're not supposed to press, and then because different people handle it at different times, and then everybody does something, maybe the item might have even fallen and then hit the ground. There's a break somewhere, no, it was not critically examined and put back on the shelf, and it's been collecting dust, nobody knew. All right. Condition of package. Package integrity is crucial. So you have to examine the package to make sure that there are no holes. If there is any hole and it's pre-sterilized item, that's it. It's trash. The money is gone. All right. Rough handling, poor storage, moisture, and dust can damage the packages. We have seen that. And then storage transportation condition, right, can also bring about event-related situation. Event-related, meaning that something happens for the item to lose its sterility. That's what it means. All right. Then handling. We saw that. We can emphasize handling. Rough handling will cut short the lifespan. All right. If you handle it gently and as if your life depends on it, it's going to live for a very long time. If you're all of us here on this in this class have phones, some either Samsung, others iPhones, and what have you. If you don't handle it well, you always have to go every 3 months, go to this store to look for a new one, or how do they call it? Turn it in and get a new one at exchange. I don't know how to call it. All right. Great. Next slide. Basic storage guidelines. Placement of sterile items. Items must be placed in designated storage area, space. Yes, you cannot go and put it any other place other than where it has been assigned to put. Guidelines are the same for in-house process or purchase items. The same thing. Same guidelines applies to whether you bought it from outside or you actually sterilize the item. Condition affecting sterility, moisture and liquid contamination, dust and dirt, physical damage to the package. Yes, physical damage to the package. You will be surprised how what will happen if a wrapped item falls and you think it is you don't see anything is intact. Wait until you unwrap it and lift the wrapper, and you will see that you have holes. You have holes, and therefore, if you had kept it on the shelf, it will be taking dust, and the microorganisms can have an impact on what is sterilized. Storage environment: clean, dry, and accessible by authorized personnel. Packages should not be crushed, bent, or compressed. So if you bought a pre-sterilized item, make sure that you don't compress it. Just handle it as you took it from the box. Okay? Don't crash it. Don't try to say, oh, and we need to deflate it to take the air out. Once the air goes out, the air can only escape when there is space. And once it escapes, air escapes, it means that the item has been compromised. All right. So, and then do not burn it. It is, if you burn it, you are trying to look for trouble for the item. So don't burn, don't crash, don't try to compress to take out any air or anything. Just leave it as it is and take it and store it the way it is. Oh, you see Dada? What's going on?
Yeah, sir.
All right. I think the slide, okay, good. We're back on. Now, placement and handling. So how you place it, how you handle it. Don't overload the items. Don't overload the items. Make sure that if there is no enough space, try to find a space somewhere. Don't overload them because you will compromise their sterility. All right. You compromise their sterility. Yes. Next slide.
It keeps cutting off, but just stay on. We're gonna still get it, okay? I think someone.
Okay, he's having some technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah.
Please bear with us, okay? Yeah. All right. There's separation of sterile and unsterile items. In the sterile storage, you shouldn't even entertain anything that is unsterile. Let's keep, because we say, let's keep what is unsterile sterile and what is sterile sterile. So under no circumstance should anything unsterile come closer to the storage room. All right. Next slide, please. Okay. Storage environment. Moisture and liquid contamination is the primary condition affecting sterility. Moisture and liquid contamination. So moisture will come from that's why we monitor the humidity and then the temperatures. That's where the moisture can come from. All right. The liquid contamination is the human, the personnel, the tech activities that can bring about that. You are holding your coffee and you are trying to lift something. What is going to happen? Two hands, you want to share the responsibility. One will not function well. Dirt and dust mean that the environmental services did not do their job well. That's when that will happen. If they are cleaning the department every day, the storage room every day, will not have that problem. Physical damage to the package. Physical damage to the package is human related. Physical damage to the package is human related. Either the transport at the transportation stage or at the breakage stage or whatever. It has to be human related. No, but nothing can happen. If the package is just there, nothing will happen unless a human being tampers with it. Storage environment requirement: clean, dry, and accessible. We're saying that items should not be crushed, compressed, bent. We saw that placed at least 18 inches below sprinkler head. So the highest, the height at which, the topest height that you could store your item is make sure that it does not go beyond 18 inches to the ceiling. So almost, and that is the golden rule. That is the golden rule from Joint Commission. So every hospital, if you go to their storage room and you have, if you want, you can take that and do that statistics, go to every hospital, if only you get the permission to do that, or they give you access, and you measure the ceiling to the top of the cart, the storage cart is always 18 inches or more. It will not be less than 18 inches. If it is, then they will get cited if Joint Commission comes. All right. If Joint Commission comes, you'll get cited. Unfortunately, this question, this topic looks so dry for me. That is the only area I see a possible question. The topest or the height at which you cannot store, or what is the required distance between the top of your cart and then the ceiling. It has to be 18 inches or more. It cannot be less than 18 inches. All right. Package placement and handling of sterile pack items. Check package integrity before placing on shelf. So we are talking about pre-sterilized items here. So check the packaging before you put it in the storage room. Ensure items are not expired. It will be worthless storing what? Expired commodity or item. You are just exposing yourself to a barrage of what? Questioning if inspectors can pass by. All right. Then heavy items on middle shelves, light items on higher shelves. So items that are heavy, you store them at your waist level or at, okay, your waist level. That items that are heavy, so that you don't have to go down there to lift it, or you don't have to lift it all the way at the top. So bottom shelf. or middle shelf, sorry, middle shelf is where we put the heaviest items at your waist level so that you don't have to use your body so much to get it lifted up. And for those items that are light, you can put them at the top shelf. So scopes, cameras, most of the time they are over there. The heavy stuff in the middle. Next slide. Any question? Next slide. All right. So arrangement of instrument and supplies. So you see that the picture on your right, the picture you see there is storage room. These are all pill pouches. These are bins or containers that are housing pill pouches. Each bin has a name on it. It gives you a description of items that are in there. It's all the reason why we do this is to make it accessible for people so that they don't come calling you. They can just walk in there, the OR can walk in there and by reading, pick whatever they need to pick and get away. But if you don't store them where they're supposed to be, they'll definitely come and call you to go help them look for it. And it is your duty to help them. Don't say, I don't know. Try to, if you have a system whereby the items are scanned to storage, you can track it in the system even before you step out so that you can see whether where the item is. Okay, so if you put the things at the right place, the OR will just go get it and go away. If you don't put it at the right place, they can't find it, they come and call us. We go there, help them, pause whatever we are doing, come back, and if you don't take time, you get confused with whatever you are doing, or you put wrong stuff in the tray that you were doing because you are now multitasking. So let us help ourselves do that. So that is one example of arrangement that you see there. So importance of storage area: ensure items are easy to locate, protect items from becoming unsterile. Said that proper stock rotation, old items used first, that is FIFO, first in, first out. All right, if it is pre-sterilized items, first in, first out. Even when I was in my case, I always try to flip. If I have a bunch, a particular set tray, type of tray that has a lot of trays. I'm giving an example. Let's say I have a basic surgery tray, and I have 20 of them. I always try to, and the storage room is such that some are in the front, some are in the back. Yeah, when I'm cooking or sterilizing, when you go to the storage room and there's front space, move those that are back to the front, and then put the new ones you just sterilized at the back, so that every tray get one use. But that's how it's supposed to be. But for pre-sterilized items, you just have to do that rule. You just have to follow that rule. But most of the time, people don't follow the rule, the first in, first out. In the case of OR trays or central sterile process trays, we just keep it where we find space because we need to get out and go home. All right. But pre-sterilized items, you have to look at the expiration date and then arrange it such that the older item is at the front and then the newer ones are at the back because they have a longer expiration date. So time-sensitive items used before expiration. Then locker system helps manage large numbers of supplies and instruments. Locker system. It says it helps manage large numbers of supplies and instruments. Then it says improves efficiency and decrease staff injury. Improves efficiency and the locator system, sorry, my bad. Improves efficiency and decreases staff injury. So that's what I was saying, that if you have a system that there's a feature to locate where the item is in real time, you can use that instead of just so that it will pinpoint to you the last time it was scanned, where it was actually scanned. So you go directly to that place, pick the item, and give to the OR staff, And they'll be like, how did you know? I looked everywhere. I didn't see that. You keep that as your secret. And then they'll be like, oh, whenever if you can't find something, just go and look for Shania. She will find it for you. Just go and look for Jawara. Oh, she know where it is. Don't, if you just go and ask for Yusuf. He will find it for you immediately. All right. Use whatever resources that will help you function. All right. Don't be like, oh, be like them. Go there and also be hopping from one shelf to another, looking for something that you should have control over because you fail to use a resource that you have at your disposal. Review manufacturer's IFU before you store. Review it. How long is it supposed to be? Where is it supposed to be stored? All of that. Check special storage requirements. That's what it means. Organizing sterile items. Organize your storage. Is your storage? Is everybody's storage? Is our office? That is the office that brings food to our table. So when we go there, organize it so that if somebody walks into your storage, you say, wow, this is neat. This is nice. This is awesome. This is great. Get those positive accolades because you're doing a great job. All right. Next slide. Stock rotation. Stock rotation. So this is where the FIFO kind of thing comes in again. Ensure older items are used first, reduce risk of contamination from handling and environmental factors. FIFO system first in, first out method prevents neglected our packs syndrome. If you don't use first in, first out item, first in, first out system, you will find something. A day you will see a tray that has been processed after somebody who has worked there for 20-something or 40-something years has retired. You go and see a tray in the name of that person. That means that they have not been practicing FIFO over there. Rotate the trays. Bring the back trays to the front and put the trays that has came out from the load or the sterilizer at the back so that every tray gets used. Handling expiration dates. Use items in order of expiration dates. It's simple. It's common sense. You cannot tell me that you have 2 items. One is expiring 31st March 2025. Another is expiring 25th August 2025. And you want to use the 25th August 2025 one first, leaving the 31st March 2025. Nah, can't do that. So use the one that expiring first before the one with a longer shelf. Stock arrangement system, minimal pack handling, minimal package handling, or minimize the package while handling. Left to right or back to front. Yeah, so in what it means here is that in some storage, in one of the rotations is left to right. Left means that any item on the left is an old item. So we begin to take the left, pick the left to the right. And then they have, in those systems, they have an arrow or an indicator on the shelf. For example, they have the arrow side that when you pick the next item, you move the arrow to the next item to be picked. That's they call it left to right, or you move the items that are the back to the front, and then the new ones will go to the back. So every hospital will have a system that they use. So be mindful of those systems. Another area, possible question that you can get is this FIFO item. All right. And also, I don't know, your books. I'm not sure I saw that slide. In your book, the text, the manual book that you are reading, see if there is a symbol for expiration date. All right. Look at how it is. You could get a question around the area. They'll give you the symbol and ask you what is the meaning of this symbol. All right. So just and I think the expiration date symbols are the same. So even if you don't have any instrument in your house, just go and pick a package that you have. And some of us are on this in this class have been ordering things from Amazon. When it comes, just look at the expiration date on the item, and then see the symbol. Look for the symbol for the expiration, and then keep it in mind. You might see something in the exam. That's another area you might keep an eye on. FIFO, then the inches between your shelf or your cart and then the ceiling, and then the expiration, what symbol this symbol means, what. All right, expiration date, manufacturing date, whatever date, keep mind of that. All right, next slide. Any question? Yes, so satellite storage areas, like we said, nurses station or nurses also have storage area. They have materials management also they have storage area. Okay, so they have different locations. They have pharmacy. They also have what do you call it? Anesthesia also have their storage area. So they have different areas that they store sterilized items. It's not only CSPD. Okay, so have that open mind that you could go to pharmacy and you get sterilized item. You could go to anesthesia department or office and you get sterilized item. You could go to materials management and you get sterilized item. So sterilized items are not the sole restricted property of CSPD. They are all over the place, and that's those areas are what we call the satellite sterile storage areas. Storage area. So sterile items stored in user departments. Operating room storage must follow CS department guidelines. So they have to follow the same thing. Don't cramp them, don't bend them, don't compress them, store them such that first, the one with the earliest that came in first should be at the front, and then the one who comes last later be at the back. Quality assurance and infection prevention includes satellite storage in audit. So yes, when you are checking, you have to audit them, check them too. That's what I mean by audit. Check them. Check there to make sure that there are no expired goods. So that is why when there is a Joint Commission is coming, when inspectors are coming to check the hospital, whether they are doing the right thing or they are cutting corners, the hospital will go ahead and set up a mock committee or a committee of people with knowledge in inspecting items, who have been trained, who have a lot of experience, to go from department to department to make sure that all guidelines and principles are being followed, and they come to CSPD too. And they will ask you questions. They ask you some fired questions, raise, and those kind of questions. All right. Pass. What does that mean? I'm not going to bother you all of that. When you get to the department, you get to know what's raise, what is pass. All right. So includes all satellite areas must follow the rules. That's what basically is talking about. Don't say because you are not CSPD, we don't care about stuff. Once you handle sterilized items, pre-sterilized items, you're supposed to follow the guidelines. Then personnel are train responsible personnel on sterility, maintenance requirements. So that is it. The training this conversation is part of the training. Because once you get to the department, they expect that you have read the book and the book has given you some information. So even though you may not have seen in real time how it is done, you have read it, you have comprehended it. Then you're now going to visualize what you have read. Okay, next slide. So what we are doing now is training. So this picture is not too clear, but it's a storage room. All right. It's a storage room. I don't know whether the picture is supposed to tell us that it is not a very tidy storage room or what. But it's a storage room. It doesn't look good to me. The lighting is not too good. All right. But let's look at the literature. What is it saying? Cleaning. Importance of cleanliness. Everybody knows that. No patient will go to a hospital where at the lobby you will find a roach or a rat. Nobody will go there. None of us in this class will go to a hospital whereby you see roaches at the lobby or you see rats. You go to top-notch hospital where everything is sparkling. Everything is spot on. The tiles on the floor is like a mirror. You can see yourself walking. That's where everybody want to go. And who needs to make it like that? You and I. Right? So cleanliness. Maintain product sterility. Standard similar to OR or labor. Delivery sites, same thing. Daily cleaning tasks. Damp mop floors. Empty trash. Okay? If you don't empty the trash, that's where the roaches and then the rats come from. Because that's where that's their home. So if you create a home for them, they will come and live there. Routine cleaning tasks, clean walls and vents. Sometimes you'll be there and then you smell something. The air is polluted because the vent is smelly. So you clean it. Then clean shelves, racks, and what? Storage devices. Factors affecting cleaning frequency. Close versus what? Open. So how close versus what? Open. So the factors that affect. Sometimes it's difficult to clean closed items. It's difficult. But the fact that it's difficult doesn't mean that you should not make an attempt to do your job. Okay? Open shelves is easier to clean or to mop or to take out what is not relevant to the storage area. Shelf cleaning process. So like I said, you go to the storage room, you see logs on the floor, take them, you see name tags, tray names broken down or the drop off, take them, all right? Anything that is not belonging to the storage area, get it out. That's the golden rule. Get it out before it's too late. Next slide. Sterile storage professionals. Sterile storage professionals. Hand hygiene. Personal hygiene. Sorry. Personal hygiene. So personal hygiene here includes your hands, your hair, your nails, your anything. You cannot be speaking with saliva dropping left everywhere. You don't become the spraying gun for your department. So make sure that you don't have food or anything in your mouth and then you are in the department and you are trying to talk. Your mouth, once you open your mouth to speak, once the food in there or water is going to come out. So personal hygiene, clean hair, body, nails, and clothes. Don't bring the what's bed bugs to the hospital. Cut your nails, keep them short. Why do you think that you have to cut your nails? I need somebody to think outside the box.
Germs, nails, long nails store a lot of germs.
Yeah, long nails store germs. Apart from storing germs, yes. What else?
It can break into the instruments or
Yes, it can break into the wrap. Your nails can break into the wrap. All right. So one is how about biobedding, which can drop in the tray, or yes, the styrofoam, or it can puncture a hole in the wrap. Our sisters in the class, they want to keep some fancy nails. Yes, yes. When you come to CSPD, it's a no. It's a no. You can't keep. If you love those long nails, then CSPD is not for you. All right. Whether at managerial level or a tech, if you are saying, okay, you are not going to be a tech, so you can put on the long nails as a manager. Leadership by example. You have to do what, or you have to preach what, or you have to do what you preach. How do they say it? Am I saying it right?
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, you have to practice what you preach. Thank you. Oh, today, thank you for class. Thank you for helping me. So you have to practice what you preach. So you can't tell staff, don't put long nails, and you have long nails. Do you have to tell staff, don't put artificial eyebrows, and then you put? You don't have to. You have to cut your hair short. You don't have to put put on long hair, or even if you have, they have to be stuck in your hair cover. All right, because once the hair falls into the tray, problem. So fingernails, keep nails short to reduce microbial load, minimize potential for rupturing packages. That's why we say jewelry. Oh my gosh, jewelry. Keep your gold and diamond and silver ornaments in the house. You can put them on when your shift is over. All right. So keep all of that yourself. They harbor microorganisms. Necklace or rings, necks, and wrist jewelry can cause damage. They can clip onto your wrap and can tear it. All right. We encourage that you don't bring those things over there. All right. Then what's training and authorization? What's this one? Okay, so yes, thank you for the next slide. Transportation. I think I made mention of this in an earlier slide. So this is an enclosed cart. This cart has a bottom, solid bottom. It has a open shelf, and it has door. You have to check to make sure that the doors latch in place, closes well, no open spaces. Okay, and you put your storage item in there, you close it, and you wheel it to wherever it is. And like as I said, the wheels take dust. The dust is because of the solid bottom is not able to have access to sterile items. So these carts are supposed to, after they are used, they're supposed to go into the cart washer to be washed. But if you are in a facility where you don't have cart washers, you have to improvise. What do you wipe them down? You wipe them down with germicidal wipes. The hospital will tell you what wipes they will provide for you to wipe it down so that at best you are a bit safe. But the best is to put it through the cat wash. The cat will wash it. Both the bottom all will be washed and the inside will be washed. But if you don't have the luxury of a cat wash, then the tech will have to wipe the item down. And where hospital where the cat washer is not there, and then technicians are supposed to wipe it, most of the time they don't do. They only wipe where they see some blood there, they wipe that place, and then they don't wipe the whole cat. So you're supposed to wipe that. So you can imagine if it is an enclosed cat. We saw closed cat versus open. It is difficult to reach the back of this cat. You have to bend and probably even go on your knees before you can reach the back. Some of us wouldn't like to give ourselves that stress. They say some people say F you. All right. Then they push the cat somewhere. Remember, if you don't do it well, it might be you on the bed in the OR, and they will use a dirty cat to transport your surgery items, or it might be a loved one. It might be your mother, it might be your uncle, it might be your nephew, it might be your niece, it might be your cousin. Yeah, right? So just be mindful of what you do. Right. So guidelines: protect items from crashing, bending, falling, or other damage. Follow established procedure to ensure items are delivered intact. Hand carry, faster and easier for small, lightweight items. And use protective covers and keep items away from the body. Very important. Keep items away from the body. If the items need to travel a certain distance, put them inside the dust cover. Plastic covers. We'll put them in there. And don't hold it like a binder that you are going, like you hold your binders when you are going to college or whatever. Trays are supposed to be held with both hands. If it is something that is light, you can keep it in one hand, keep it in one. Don't rub it against your body. And try to cut short your conversation. Don't stop greeting everybody on the way when you're carrying something that is sterile. You end up contaminating it. All right. Transport cart, easier and faster than hand carrying. Use solid bottom shelves and cover items on open carts. So we have seen that earlier on in one of our conversation, our classes, we say if it's an open cart, you have to cover it, right? Elevators, lifts. Use dedicated clean elevators for sterile items. So in some hospitals, they have elevators that they use for transportation of sterile items. You cannot use that elevator for any other purpose except, and sometimes you have to have a special ID to be able to scan and have access to the place. All right. Use dedicated, okay, that vehicular transport. We've seen that. You have to secure the cart so that movement back and forth. All right. Next slide. Okay. Conclusion. Significance of sterility in central service. Crucial for preventing patient-wide infection. The reason why we are talking about it is to make sure that the item gets to the OR still sterile, and we can vouch for it, that it has not been compromised, and therefore the patient will get the best outcome. And that is the wish of every patient, that you go and come out better than he went or she went. Okay? Nobody should go to a hospital and get what we call hospital-acquired disease or sickness or virus or agent or whatever I call it. Okay? I remember my edition, they call it nosocomial disease. You go to the hospital and then you acquire something and take it home. That's not good. That is the essence of keeping things sterile. Ensure safety during medical procedure. Okay? Ensure safety during medical procedure. Transport is very, very important. You will get to the department and you see how people handle trays. They'll hold it like it's a college biology book. All right? It's supposed to be handled with both hands because each tray has 2 handles. The 2 handles are there for a purpose. Use both hands to handle it. Following procedure. So adhere to written storage and transportation guidelines. As CSPD, we are supposed to practice what we preach. So if I'm telling you to use both hands to hold the tray and deliver it, and you see me using one hand as your boss, as your manager, or your lead tech, or whoever, prompt the person, hey, what we are doing is not right. Initially, they may not take it lightly, but later on, they will see this wisdom in what you are telling them. So the same way, whatever we tell our staff or we practice, when we see the OR doing something contrary to what we do, we have to draw their attention. Hey, you can't carry the tray like that. By the time you get to the room, if it is a tray that has delicate instruments, all of them will be all over the place. You see heavy items on the delicate ones, and then they get broken. And then they come back saying it is the fault of the CSP. Meanwhile, it's not our fault. But let me tell you, when you get to the job, every problem that the OR will find, it is CSPD's fault. It is CSPD's fault. So I'm just telling you this ahead of time. Don't be surprised when everything comes back to your doorsteps. Regardless of how you check all your boxes, you cross your T's and dot your I's, the complaints will still come CSPD. And you can't defend yourself, unfortunately. Maintaining cleanliness in the area is a way of breaking the process of getting items contaminated, or is a process of ensuring items sterilized remain sterile until use. And impact of unsterile instruments. If you deliver items that are not sterile, what is the impact? Potential cause to patient infection. It can result in patient being infected if you send a sterile item to the storage or to the OR. And I give you an instance whereby an item which is not sterile or sterilized can make its way to the storage and all the way to the storage room or to the OR. There was an incident where everybody failed to catch something. There was a tray that is supposed to have gone through low temperature sterilization. It did not go through the process. The tray made its way to the storage room. It means the tech who was sterilizing failed to look at the external, either the tape or the lock, to see whether they have been exposed to sterilization parameters. This tray made its way to the storage room, sat down there on the shelf waited till a poor patient walked in, and out of negligence or whatever, this tray was delivered to the OR team that was you going to use this tray, made up of a doctor and maybe a student, a medical student, depending on the case. I don't know about medical student, but I know there was a doctor, there was a nurse, there was a surgical tech, there was an anesthesiologist. So 4 people, 4 levels of what check. They all failed to recognize that the tray was unsterile. They didn't realize that it was not sterile. This tray was used, it was opened. They still didn't see that the indicator in the tray was unchanged. They still went ahead and used the tray. Can you see the level of checks that the whole process, the whole tray has gone through, but everybody failed to see it? The tray made its way, the tray was used on the patient. It was only when the case was done, they closed up the surgical site, that they realized the indicator did not change. How would you feel if you were the patient? How would you feel if you were the relative of the patient? How would you feel if you were in the shoes of the doctor? How would you feel if you were the tech in that room? How would you feel if you were the nurse in that room? You feel guilt in you. You'll be consumed with guilt because you failed to do your job. So, guys, sterility is very, very, very important. This case I'm talking to you about, everybody who failed to check off his box or her box was disciplined. And then the hospital lost money because they have to inform the patient that what the instrument we used on you was unsterile. And then the hospital had to compensate the person, the patient. Whether the compensation is equivalent to the risk or the health, I don't know. But I can tell you the hospital paid $7 million for that. The hospital paid $7 million because somebody failed to catch what is an obvious and sterile situation. So guys, you are walking into a very, very critical profession that you need to keep your eyes wide open. You need to focus on what you're doing. You need to pay attention to what you're doing because people are entrusting their lives into your care. So you're part of the healthcare team. You're not just a tech, you are part of the healthcare team. It's a team work. So you're part of it. And a team, it is not individual. We play as a team, we win as a team. We play as individual, we lose as a team. That's how it works. So unsterile instrument compromises patient safety. That is the point we want to make. So having said this, guys, remember that you are dealing with human life. So take whatever you are doing seriously, especially when it comes to sterility. Don't open the tray and then try to use tape to hold the lock in place and try to lock it back. Cook it again, or sterilize it again. Cook it in CSPD terms means sterilize it again. When you get there, you will stop using the word sterilize. You will use the word cook. Any question, guys? Any question? All right. So before I hand it over to whoever, and let's just take your two minutes to ask some questions. So, what is the required measurement between your ceiling and the height of your storage card?
18 inches.
What?
18 inches or
18 inches. 18 inches. Please, if you forget anything we have said here, keep that one. All right. Now, what is the nature of the transportation cart? What is the nature of the bottom of this transportation cart of your storage items? What is the nature of your transportation cart of your sterilized items? I only have 2 minutes. One more minute. What is the nature of the bottom of your sterilization cart for transporting sterile items?
To protect the
Not the reason. What is its nature? What is the nature of the sterilization, the cart for transporting, the bottom of the cart for transporting your sterilized items?
a solid metal?
It must have a solid bottom. It must have a solid bottom. Look out for something like that. All right. It is okay to wear your wedding ring in central sterile processing?
no.
No, because your wedding ring becomes part of your jewelries, right? It's part of your jewelries. What is the method of, what is the, let me use it, I wanted a very technical word to use, because the words matter, because if you don't, you have to look for, what is this, the preferred, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. What is the preferred way of picking a tray from the storage room? What is the preferred way of picking a tray from the storage room? Yes. I've taken more than, I've used my 2 minutes. Yes, anybody with any idea? What is the preferred way or method of picking trays from the storage room?
From the button.
From what? No, say that again.
From the button.
From the button. From
The-
the button. Okay. There. But I want a word. I want one simple word.
Are we looking for how to pick it up or what to pick it up with?
No, how to pick it up. That's why I say, what is the preferred way of
With gloves.
with gloves? No, I'm looking at the method. Maybe I'm not putting the question right.
Family hold the bottom and then pull it.
Aha. I don't want the pull part.
Okay, family hold the bottom, and then they maintain ergonomics.
And what are you going to do?
Staff.
So we don't pull, we lift. So the preferred, this is like somebody said at the put your hand at the bottom and then you lift.
We
The
lift,
preferred
okay.
method is lifting, not pulling.
Okay.
All right, guys. Okay, so let's leave it here. I don't want to take too much of your time. Professor Japan, are you there?
Yeah. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Professor John. The lifting that we just mentioned, please, those that will be going for the clinicals, going for the attachments, going to actually start the 400 hours, please remember the lifting. Okay? In case you go to the storage area, don't drag, don't pull any sterilized instrument package. Please lift it. So the lifting should be something that you should always remember. Okay? So if there are no
Professor Japan, let me
questions,
just add this. Especially if it is a wrap tray. If it is a canister tray, yes, maybe you can pull it a bit before you lift it. But as for wrap trays, is a no. You cannot pull. It's going to tear. There's no way about it. Okay? Yeah, sorry for the interjection.
all right. So thank you so much. So guys, we're gonna leave it here until tomorrow when we meet Dr. Mike for the next chapter. Those that can get access to your test and other stuff, keep on doing it until the data comes. But until then, we meet tomorrow, same time, 3 p.m. All right. Have a great day.
Have a good evening.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Have a nice day.
Bye.